Hi, guys. All right, let's get into this, shall we? We're going to see wherever this one takes us. This is going to be a love storyline. We're going to check in on the topic of love. We start out with, I would say, the time is ripe. The Hanged Man is in the reverse, which means that those delays are coming to a close. If someone has been, it's almost is a really heavy vibe of martyrdom, which can always be a part of the Hanged Man, but in particular in this deck and this card, big time martyrdom. So I don't know if someone had been primarily like lugging around like, oh, the woe is me. Hey, Sarah. If somebody was like, oh, woe is me, I'm having so much, difficulty. That's why I can't do X, Y, or Z. And they're finally done doing that. In fact, whomever this character is, they perhaps have had that come in a Jesus moment where they looked in the mirror, they saw the way they were like limiting themselves or taking away their own power. But they could also have been inspired by someone else external to them, because here we do seem to have a masculine, here we seem to have a feminine on the moon card, and the moon is divine feminine energy anyway. It's the gravitational pull, it's the energy of, especially like deeply connecting to the intuition, but we see her looking in the mirror. So I'm wondering if someone has had like a breakthrough moment. By the way, we've got a double dose of Pisces starting the storyline out. So 2 doses of huge emotion. And if, let's say he, for example, has pulled his energy from away from that vibe of, woe is me, because he was inspired by someone who maybe did a similar thing or looked in the mirror and said, you know what, I think I'm supposed to be, shining. I'm supposed to be rising. I'm supposed to be the moon in the sky. I'm supposed to be seen. I'm not afraid to be visible. I'm not afraid to be out there. So maybe she has tapped into that in herself, and that could have inspired him. Let me see. I'm not 100% sure about that part yet, but there's some connection to this, and the moon is shared energy, the looking into oneself and listening. Yeah, I'm going to double down on it and say I think that he found courage. Hi, guys. Kins, Amanda, Carol, Robin, Bobby. Great to see everybody. Yeah, I'm going to say that this, whoever the moon is, gave him courage. Exactly what he needed. Strong Leo energy coming in. Somebody stepped right into the light. Okay, so we may have a King of Swords who's been empowered to step into his best energy. If he had been living his life fairly small, if he had been living his life fairly subdued, or letting other people step on him and saying, well, I have to let them do this, I have to be the martyr, I'm not allowed to move on with my life is on pause, on delay, because of what others need of me. It almost seems like he's been inspired to stop behaving that way and change that. Oh, Crystal Suzanne, thank you so much, honey, and welcome, Kins. Crystal Suzanne has just given you a membership. You guys are so amazing. Thank you, everybody. We've got the 3 of Swords sideways. We've got the 8 of Swords sideways. So once again, we have a shared energy. Before I say anything else, let me just jump over to the moon person. Tell me about her. Tell me about the moon. 9 of Pentacles. I keep feeling like we have, I'll just say a feminine energy, even if this is a masculine, they're showing up in feminine energy, who has chosen to say, I'm not going to be, let me re-explain this for just a second, because the moon in like the Lenormand deck in particular, and one of my Lenormand decks, has the greatest description I've ever seen. And they said that the moon is more like that silvery screen vixen that everybody loves, everybody sees, everybody notices, right? Because there's only one moon in the sky. And we all know that's our moon, right? And there's this allure, and we sing songs about the moon, but the moon is very remote. It's not got anybody else out there with it, right? The stars have each other, but the moon is just by themselves. And so kind of like the Marilyn Monroe energy, the moon can be kind of a lonely, tragic, but also extremely well-known, extremely sought after, very, like, she's such a sex symbol. She's, everybody wanted to be her. Men wanted to be with her. Women wanted to be her. The Marilyn Monroes represent like the moon. It's like a 1 in a billion, but it can get lonely out there. And I'm wondering if we're describing a character. She could have glorious dark hair. She could be incredibly beautiful. She wears big, huge hoop earrings. But she could be an absolute stellar individual, but have a certain amount of melancholy and be really, I'm going to say, a bit of a lonely figure, a bit of a, I don't know if she's kind of walked by herself a lot in life. Maybe she's deeply intuitive, and that deep intuition has set her apart. Maybe there's a certain amount of loneliness to her. Anytime I think of a character that comes across as lonely, I always think of that song, and I was captured by her woundedness, a lonely tiger on her willowy path. It's my favorite song by George Harrison. She takes away the breath away from heaven, and I think it's called Breath Away from Heaven. Oh, I love George Harrison. He's my favorite Beatle. But that song in particular is, I think, among his best, and it's such a beautiful, like, lullaby song. But those lyrics always make me think anytime I talk about like a kind of a lonely character, because I feel like those words are so poetic. So maybe that describes her a little bit. That could be a situation. Oh my gosh, Kins, you angel. Kins just gifted Contented Tiger a membership. You guys are too much. You're so sweet. You guys, thank you. I feel as if she's been kind of a lonely character. She's out here choosing to just go ahead and carry on, but she may be highly visible. She may be highly respected, whether she knows it or not, kind of like the Marilyn Monroe, right? Kind of a lonely character, but very sought after. And I'm wondering if somehow that energy of standing kind of alone, kind of doing one's own thing, whether or not people notice her or not, isn't really her lookout. She's just kind of, continuing to understand herself better and do what she does. If that has had her, rising, and that is also what has caught the attention of this King of Swords and has given them some kind of inspiration and some kind of courage to break away from stuck energy, to rise above. Look, anybody who's ever been lonely knows it's probably born of some kind of wound, right? We don't usually end up feeling isolated or lonely because everything's, peachy keen in our lives. So I'm going to say she knows a thing or two about betrayal and heartbreak. She knows a thing or two about what it's like to find yourself out there kind of floating around, just off on your own. And I think that this is one of those messages here. Oh, welcome, Yvonne. You're so sweet. Welcome. But this feels like maybe he recognized that in her and said, God, I can see this loneliness in her, and I can also see this courage and this rising, and I can see she could be in the public eye. She could be somebody that is doing something that she's very well respected for. And I don't think she gives a rat's patootie about that part. She's just doing her best to be her. We have the Sun, we have the Judgment. This is inspiring a King of Swords. And I have to say, this looks like he had some past energy with her, because you don't need to reconcile with that Judgment card unless once upon a time he wasn't in her world. He is now seeing, what's that song? I like how you're broken like me. Sorry, I'm trying to think of the lyrics. It's a real upbeat song. Something about, I like how you're broken like me. Da, 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 da. I can't think of the rest of the lyrics. But it almost feels like maybe that's a wrong song to apply to this, but this feels happy. It feels shiny. It feels like, wait a second, you're an outsider too. I don't know if he had a very disapproving family. Remember, he seems to have been a character who was martyring himself for far too long and didn't really have the courage to just be himself. So I'm wondering, with this always feels like a very disapproving family, a family that, they stand there and they don't approve and they're going to say their piece and you got to kowtow to them. And I almost think he's saying, no, I can reconcile with the fact that they're not going to be happy for me, that I'm going to go ahead and be happy. I'm going to sing my song. I want to go ahead and be around this moon person. She taught me something about standing by yourself. She taught me something about breaking free of the confines. She taught me that even if you feel betrayed or lonely, or if it's going to hurt that people aren't going to stand beside you, you should still do what you should do in life. And there will always be people that don't approve of you. There will always be people that won't want to talk to you because they're going to cast judgment upon you. And then there will also always be people that like you for just doing the thing that you need to do. And sometimes it can be a really lonely place to be, though. But I think he's found that it's okay for him now too. She set a precedence for him. She gave him some kind of courage. And now he's looking at this almost happily. Now, it could be because he says, well, I won't even be alone because I want to go be around her. I want to be in her world. So what if my family is going to disapprove? I can be at peace with that because I'm going to be happy, at least doing the thing that I really want to do. I want to become a mariachi player. I want to do that. Oh my God, Crystal Suzanne, thank you again. Anonymous Angel, welcome. Crystal Suzanne has just gifted yet another membership tonight. Oh my gosh, you guys are so generous. We have a 5 of Swords. It is in the reverse. We have a 4 of Wands upright, and we have a 5 of Pentacles. I just see this as somebody is finally walking away from being everybody's doormat. Somebody is finally walking away from, look, if we have to, how do I say this? How comfortable could it be to have to live on your knees or to have to always bow to everybody? How comfortable would it be? How could life feel that good if you're constantly in somebody else's, boot heel that they've got on your throat? So really, walking away from that, all it's going to be is an alleviation. We're not missing out on anything other than the compression and the judgment and the unhappiness, really. So I almost feel like that's what he's kind of come to the conclusion of. She represents a single, possibly autonomous businesswoman, somebody who she's making her way in this world. We see her successful. And I think what he maybe sees in her is she isn't about it. Any damn body. She isn't about anybody. She's making her own way through the world. I think he's realizing, you mean if you don't care so much about the way everybody else is going to expect you to be, you mean you can just do your thing? And them trying to step on you isn't going to matter, and you're not going to miss out on the approval that you used to have to gain by being a doormat. She seems to be doing just fine. I really think she set some kind of a tone for him that it's okay to go against the grain. It's okay. You can make your life a success even if you have people that will judge you for it, even if there will be people that won't like you. There will be people that don't like you, no matter how nice you are to them, no matter if you give them $1 million and cook them dinner every night and, rub their feet. They will still say derogatory things about you. That is just the way some people are. So better to please oneself than to try to please others who you'll never get the approval from anyway. And that is maybe what he's realized. And it's so much more satisfying to not have to do that. That's the way I'm interpreting this. Okay, so let me just go over here and let's ask for some help from the universe. Universe, you want to weigh in just on the King of Swords. The Star, he's healed. He's ready to reach for his actual happiness. He's ready to reach for something better for himself. He's ready to reach for the good life now. Action of Cups. This storyline is as much about loving one's own life as it is, going toward a lover. Now, this card does say he's ready to move toward someone that he actually thinks very highly of, some feminine who he believes is really quite wonderful. She may be at a distance. The Star can represent distance. The traveling of the Knight. This would be a Knight of Cups in any other deck, but here they call it the Action of Cups. We can see he needs to go someplace. The Knights are our action takers, and he's taking action for love, for healing, for the wish that he actually has, for the life that he wants to have. And I do think he sees her as a star. We've described her as the moon. He sees her as a star. All right, universe, you want to weigh in on her. Let's stick with this deck. No, no. Sorry, that I can't, because then what if we're going to have a duplicate card? That won't be fair. Okay, universe, weigh in on just her. We got the Four of Wands and the Queen of Swords, and they're both in the reverse. Okay, so no matter how he sees her, she's rocking it. She's living her best life. Actually, she's in a bit of a snit right now. She's got something going on that's making her salty, or she's got somebody who is mean, who's disrupting her normal stable life, or maybe she's feeling like, sometimes it's hard to always stand on your own. It does get lonely, and even if she keeps carrying on, it doesn't mean that it's easy. There is something here about a Queen of Swords in the reverse is mad. Oftentimes I look at her as angry, and she's out of kilter right now, which is funny because he doesn't see her that way at all. What is she upset about? King of Pentacles sideways. There's something to do with either she's feeling the need to defend herself against either someone who is here to take from her. A King of Pentacles, this should be somebody who's giving. In the reverse, this would be somebody stingy, and sideways, this is the questionable intentions. I don't know. I almost feel like she suddenly has to try to protect herself. Oh my gosh. Marabuka, thank you. The welcome, honey. Crystal Suzanne just gifted Marabuka yet another membership. Oh my God, Crystal Suzanne, thank you. Thank you. Thank you a million times over. You're so generous. We've got the Seven of Pentacles. You know what I think this is? I think it's been far too long since she hasn't had some kind of assistance or some kind of fair treatment. I think she's been grinding. I think she's been working hard. And I think there's a piece of her that says, can I not catch a break? Why is it that half of what I do either gets siphoned off by somebody else? Or why is it that I can never gain the generosity no matter how long I put in the effort, no matter how much I give? How come I don't get the payout? So she might be kind of just feeling hard done by right now. That's interesting that he does not know that about her. I feel like she's kind of like in that vibe of, God, can I really not catch a win? Can I really not have things go my way? But it actually says she has had things going her way, or at least through his perspective. Universe, weigh in on that concept. Because sometimes, and every character is entitled to having their pity party, right? Every character can have a rough day, I'm the queen of pity parties. I throw really good ones for myself, really big. There's balloons and everything. No, but every character has their moments, right? The universe weighs in on this and says there is a certain amount where maybe she has been overgiving, because it says she's done a little bit of martyrdom as well, and she's done with that. Maria, thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you. You're so generous. Thank you. Crystal Suzanne, you're so amazing. And happy belated birthday, my love. This feels like, whether or not she knows it, she too had been overgiving and not seeing things that way. And maybe, like one of the lessons is to pull energy back just a little bit. If she overextended herself, or not even overextended herself, but if she thought she'd be doing the right thing, and then instead something here happened that was not okay. That King of Pentacles going sideways, that's not okay energy. There's a selfishness. There's something, it feels like a frenemy. It feels like she maybe gave a lot for a long time. She was consistent, and then there was a frenemy who came in and did something unkind. And if that is the case, that's where she's like, wow, I did this all wrong. And now I'm pissed that I did that. I shouldn't have assumed that it was, somebody had the mutual respect, because I don't think that they did. This could have been a lover. She needed to walk away from something. She needed to stop doing something. And she found out just a little too late. I almost feel like this is her reflecting and saying, she's got kind of a loner attitude right now. Now, on one hand, I think it's good that she's walking away from certain things that have been a huge disappointment. On the other hand, I think she's fed up with things that are a huge disappointment, and we see her walking her own path. I do feel like it's a loner's energy right now, which probably also means this is the time, whether or not she knows it, this is when she could most use a friend. This is when she could most use, when somebody gets fed up, feels kind of like either disrespected or run through the meat grinder, especially after being consistent and giving, and then has kind of a frenemy exchange. I can understand how she's like, wow, I just want to walk away. I just want to keep to myself. I want to be more of a moon than ever. Which is ironic because as much as she imagines that she's kind of just out there completely on her own, I don't think she has any clue what kind of an impact she's been making, she, he, whomever this is. So what is the overall message here? Actually, let's change decks one more time. What is the overall message for this story? Because I think he's coming in just the right time. She's a Queen of Swords in the reverse. She's salty, she's pissed, and she's ready to just kind of say, screw everything and everybody else. I'm just going to stay by myself. I don't want to interact. I don't want frenemies. And he's over here saying, God, I admire her so much. She's shown me some better way. It's so crazy. He has no idea at what cost it's been on her side. And I don't think she could have ever used a friend more than now, is what the storyline says. This is the last judgment. This isn't even just the judgment. This is the last judgment. This is our phoenix rising, not just from the ashes, but from the center of a volcano. It is definitely time for either for her to have somebody in her corner that she can count on. It is time, if he really means all of this, and we can see that he does, she's been such a huge inspiration to him. She's at kind of like her wit's end where she could really use a friend. She needs to catch a break. And he seems to be in that place where he has been inspired by her and is now breaking free and is headed her way with kind of the energy of love on his mind. I think that's why it's the last judgment. It's because this is the reconciliation energy, or this is I don't even know if these two were lovers in the past. They may not have been. This could have been someone who he simply knows her, but he's admired her. I definitely feel like there was something from admiration from afar, but it just feels like he really needs to move toward her. And I almost want to say, yeah, with this Nine of Pentacles, I almost want to say that if part of her like being who she was impacting him in a positive way, it's like maybe this took a long time. She had to keep being her best self and displaying her best self, and it went on and on and on. I mean, we have the Seven of Pentacles, so that talks about a long amount of time. And so all of that continual display of, like consistency and stuff on her part. And I think she finally is just kind of like that energy flow is like collapsing, but he's been the recipient of that energy flow. So it is like she depleted herself in order to fulfill him. But these two kind of seem like divine counterparts. Oh, Amanda Curry, you sweetheart, thank you so much. And Yvonne, thank you so much. You guys are so generous. Thank you so much. I am so touched by how kind and how incredibly generous you guys are toward me, toward each other. I am absolutely blown away. With this Nine of Pentacles here, we see her in this vibe of, I think she's going to be restored. He's seen her as a Nine of Pentacles all this time, but something got tedious or something got taken away from her after she worked really hard for it, and she was just kind of collapsing. The universe's message on all of this is it's time that she find out that what she's done not only helped her, but it helped him. And now it's kind of time for that to be returned somehow, is what it says. And I think this is him coming in as that energy exchange or something for the, like, lifting her up this time. Yeah, Three of Cups, 10 of Cups. This feels amazing. This feels like, I'm guessing it's going to have a really great impact on her to have him enter into her world. I'm feeling like, number one, he's in a great energy, right? He's broken away from some stuff that he needed to. He's standing on his own 2 feet. He's strong. He's empowered. He kind of has been the beneficiary of some of her energy and her inspiration. So he's in real strong energy. And I almost feel like she needs like a shelter from him now. This 3 of Cups, though, and 10 of Cups gets them onto the equal footing pretty swiftly with happiness and positive energy. It looks like this is a love story for these two. Can I just ask, did they have love before this? Did he stay away from her because of disapproving family, or what was the deal on this one? We have got the Knight of Pentacles sideways. Now, this is a storyline that didn't really ever get a chance to get fleshed out or get nourished or get, it's almost like nothing really ever moved forward for them. Maybe it could have been a romance, but it didn't really go anywhere, not even at a slow pace. It was like everything just got put on pause. I would say if he knew her, there was very, very, very little opportunity for them to even start engaging with each other. Like, I don't even know if they went to dinner, honestly, because we have the chef like peering around, like, are they here? Are they sitting down for dinner? And this restaurant, it almost looks like this will be their first real date or something. It's like everything was on pause, which would make sense because obviously we started out with he was on pause for a really long time. She was also in a whole different way. But I usually look at this as either the timeline jump if it's in the reverse, or I look at it as the timeline shift. But this didn't even get off the ground. There was no opportunity for anything to move forward. How's she going to feel hearing from him? I mean, we already saw the outcome on this. Oh, Carol, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, honey. You're so generous. Thank you. We've got the 2 of Swords sideways. Remember, she's kind of salty. She's a Queen of Swords in the reverse, so it's not a shocker that she would be suspicious. You notice we have the fox here, but then we also have the snake here. And the 2 of Swords is almost like her fighting with herself. She may not want to respond, but then, she's got to figure out what the hell are they contacting me for? What the hell are they showing up in my world for? I don't get it. Remember, she's been a little primed to have unkindness or something. Look, anybody who's ever been hangry or salty, if we're pissy, if we're wounded, if we feel like something's going wrong, we're like a bear with a sore paw, right? And everybody becomes a threat, and everything becomes, what nasty thing are you here to deliver upon me? The world is a cruel place and I'm pissed right now. So I'm not surprised to see her in this kind of like lonely energy, also in this pissy energy, and also in this, I think I want to protect myself from you, from everything. But then she can't help but wonder, what is this? Is somebody trying to punk me, play games on me? Or is this some moment of supreme transformation? Why is she so suspicious of them in particular like this? I'm just wondering if there was a reason for suspicion of the past. No, it's more along the lines of they could be in like creepily like awesome. I know that sounds weird, but it's like she's come to mistrust things at the moment. So if they're coming in like really stable, really amazing, really complimentary, she might be just as weirded out by that as she would be by, lack of kindness. This really speaks of somebody who's been pretty cruelly used. For her to get into this vibe and be that hostile and that braced for the worst, and even want to push away particularly something that would normally be very complimentary, it must come across like, man, she's had it up to her eyebrows and beyond with being mistreated somehow. So there was something that really, let me go back to that King of Pentacles for just a minute. Universe, can you give me perspective on what was it that like threw her for such a loop? We have the Star card, which should be a wish or a hope. That also comes with a certain amount of innocence on that card. Nine of Wands. Normally this is the Wounded Warrior card, but I'm feeling like she was working on healing, and then it's like everything tumbled backwards. Something really threw her for a loop, because the star should have been, the star should have been really profound healing, but then the Nine of Wands, we've just regressed and we're not really healed, and now we're in a wounded energy again, trying to heal, and then we go to lies and deception. So whomever that King of Pentacles was, this is a dirty bastard. I'm sorry to say it that way. Whatever this represents, it doesn't have to be a person. It can be an energy. It can be an entire, like, sometimes it's an era, but it's like, I don't trust anything or anybody. Like, that was the net result. And she was big pissed. It could have had to do with her career, her finance, her business that she built. It could have had to, now she might have been overly theatrical about this. Sometimes when we get wounded, we take it to the extremes of, this is the worst ever. But I kind of think, look, a Queen of Swords has a high tolerance level for nonsense. When you get to the Seven of Swords, this is about as bad as it gets for, like, it may as well be like a Three of Swords, because it's a betrayal. It's a big fat lie. It's something that really tore the foundation out from under her. And so I do feel like it was a real, either an insult or betrayal from somebody or somebody's. It could be a bigger scenario, but it feels like that shook her world, and that was it. Probably because she put a lot of energy in, she built something over a long period of time, and then nothing undermines life and stability more than like feeling as if, wow, this is, so you can work hard, you can do your best, you can do everything right, and then you still end up getting this as a reward. I can kind of see why she'd be feeling so kind of like, not even just bitter, but like she just wants to stay away. That's that Eight of Cups. I just want to stay away from everybody. I can understand that vibe coming off of her, but I can also understand why it's time that, I'm surprised we don't have like justice or something, because it feels like a divine balance is finally coming back into play. Somebody who she has had a direct impact on, although she didn't know it, is actually coming in kind of in her hour of need. Now, this happens to be a lover. This happens to be a romantic partner. This happens to be somebody that could be a really great match for her. Do they have a happily ever after, universe? What happens with this? Oh my gosh, Marabuka, thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you. We have King of Wands. They have more than a happily ever after. They have warmth and love, and they have something very raw and very real. They have something very warm. Yeah, that's an amazing way to wrap this one up. I'm so happy for this character. Actually, I'm happy for everybody in this storyline. They all kind of ended up having, a turning of the tides for every single, well, for both, not every single, but for both characters. They both ended up having a positive turn of the tides, which is, I think, the best I can ever hope for my characters. Thank you again, you guys. Really amazing to see all of you tonight. RS, thank you, honey. Crystal Suzanne, thank you again. You are such an angel of generosity, Crystal Suzanne. I always feel like the sweetest, most generous people are probably the ones who haven't been gifted much generosity in their lives. I hope that you receive so much of it for all the kindness that you spread. Crystal Suzanne, you deserve it. Thank you. Bobby Harris, me too. Jessica H., my pleasure. Thank you again so much, Carol. Marabuka, Yvonne, Amanda, Maria. Oh my gosh. You guys are so generous. Kins, thank you again. You're so sweet. Robin G., great to catch you. Hi, T-Baby. And welcome again, Anonymous Angel. Rachel's Magic, great to see you, love. Slave Princess, wonderful to see you tonight. And Contented Tiger, always great to catch you in a live. Thanks for popping by. Hi, Denisa. Nancy, hi, sweetie. You guys are so awesome. Hi, Delinda. Jessica Rios in the house. Carmen, hi. Hi, John. Great to catch you twice tonight. Kung Fu Panda. Thank you. Yes, that song. That's a really great one, isn't it? I don't know who sings it. Rachel's Magic is the title of it. Broken. Okay. Yeah, but it's such an upbeat little ditty. I love that one. T baby, that's a great point. Hey, Jasmine Angel, great to see you, love. Thanks again, you guys. Black Butterfly 25, I almost missed you in there. Hi, Violet. Ramon, good morning, sweetie. Rodolfo, hi. Hi, Enchanting Libra. Thank you. So honored you popped in. Nikki O. Hi, Samira. Thanks so much. Oh my gosh, Maria, thank you again, honey. Thank you so much. Jojo85, Gabriella. Oh my gosh. Crystal Suzanne, thank you and welcome, Jojo85. Crystal Suzanne just gifted you another membership as well. You guys are so amazing. All right, everybody. Lots of love. I'll see you again. Bye for now. Take care.